Hello, everyone, and welcome to our new session of current updates. Right, so I hope all of you are revising well. So let's see what we're doing today for today's current updates session. Let me start by sharing my screen. Yes, it's visible. So I welcome you all again to this new session of current updates. And today's current update session will be about the Sahitya Academy Award winners in English. All right. So let's get started with our writers today who have recently won Sahitya Academy Awards in English. Right. So here is our first writer. Okay. So here is our first writer. Okay. So who is it? Yes. She's an Indian English writer of fiction that depicts North India's small towns and their cultural histories. She's the author of 6 novels, 4 collections of short stories, and 1 work of literary nonfiction. She has edited a pictorial volume of the history and culture of the city of Allahabad, where she lives and works, and has also translated one of her early novels into Hindi. Her debut collection, Grey Pigeon and Other Stories, was released by Penguin India in 1993. She then won a Writers' Fellowship in Britain from the Charles Wallace India Trust. Her next book, a novel, was titled Speaking of 62 and was published by Penguin in 1995. This was followed in 1997 by Winter Companions and Other Stories, and she got the Sahitya Academy Award in 2023 for her novel Requiem in Raga Janki. Right, so she got the Sahitya Academy Award last year for this novel. So please do look up these writers. Okay, right. Next, we will look at Anuradha Roy. Anuradha Roy is another important writer who got the Sahitya Academy Award in 2022. So she is an Indian novelist, journalist, and editor. She has written 5 novels: An Atlas of Impossible Longing, The Folded Earth, Sleeping on Jupiter, All the Lives We Never Lived, and The Earth Spinner. Her first novel, An Atlas of Impossible Longing, was picked up for publication after she shared initial pages with writer and publisher Christopher McLehose and has been translated into 18 languages. Sleeping on Jupiter, her third novel, won the DSC Prize for South Asian Literature and was longlisted for the Man Booker Prize. Her fourth novel, All the Lives We Never Lived, it won the Tata Book of the Year Award for Fiction 2018. It was longlisted for the Walter Scott Prize for Historical Fiction. It was shortlisted for the International Dublin Literary Award 2020. In December 2022, it won India's most prestigious literary award. There is the Sahitya Academy Award given by India's Literary Academy to a work written in any genre in English. The Earth Spinner, her 5th novel, was published by Hachette India and the Mountain Leopard Press, London, in September 2021. This novel won the Sushila Devi Book Award 2022 for the best novel by a woman writer in India. Races and reviews have appeared in newspapers and magazines in India, US, and Britain. So here again, we have a very important woman writer from India, Anuradha Roy. So why are we discussing these writers? Because these writers have got Sahitya Academy Award, India's highest literary award, right? And in net exams, at least 1 or 2 questions will come from this area, like Sahitya Academy Award winners, these writers, their works, right? So be very careful about the works they have written, okay, and the prizes they have got. Okay, let's move on to the next writer. Okay, Namita Goel. She got the Sahitya Academy Award in 2021, right? So let's see what Namita Goel has written. Many of you are already aware about her works. So again, she is an Indian fiction writer, editor, festival director, and publisher. Her debut novel, Paro, Dreams of Fashion, was released in 1984, and she has since written fiction and non-fiction and edited non-fiction collections. She conceptualized and hosted the Doordarshan show Kitab Nama, Books and Beyond, and is a founder and co-editor of the Jaipur Literature Festival. She won the 2021 Sahitya Academy Award for her novel Things to Live Behind. Things to Live Behind, that's a very important word, right? So Things to Leave Behind is a historical novel by Namita Goel, right? It's a historical novel. And it was published in 2016 by Penguin Random House India. So these are the novels you should remember. So what are the important novels here? Paro, Dreams of Passion, and Things to Leave Behind. These two novels are very important by Namita Goel, who got the Sahitya Akademi Award in 2021 for this novel, Things to Leave Behind. And it's a historical novel. Clear? Right. So let me tell you a bit more about all the works that she has written. So some of her works of fiction are Paro, Dreams of Passion, then God's Graves and Godmother, a Himalayan Love Story, The Book of Shadows, right? Again, she has written works of non-fiction as well, like Mountain Echoes, The Book of Shiva, The Puffin Mahabharata, In Search of Sita. These are some works of fiction and non-fiction by Namita Goel. Okay, so do look up these writers and their works. Okay. Right. So before we proceed, let me remind you all that we have already started our recap course. If you haven't joined yet, please do and give your net preparation a good boost. Right. Next, we will talk about Arundhati Subramanian. She is an Indian poet and author who has written about culture and spirituality. She is the author of 13 books of poetry and prose. Her volume of poetry, When God is a Traveler, was the season choice of the Poetry Book Society and was shortlisted for the T.S. Eliot Prize in 2015. And it won the Sahitya Akademi Award for the year 2020. So this is the work for which she got the Sahitya Akademi Award, right? When God is a Traveler, right? Okay. Her poetry has been published in Reasons for Belonging, 14 Contemporary Poets. So these are some of the poetry collections which I have mentioned here. Reasons for Belonging, then 60 Indian Poets, Both Sides of the Sky, We Speak in Changing Languages, the Bladdex Book of Contemporary Indian Poets. These are some of the very important poetry collections by Arundhati Subramaniam. Again, a very important poet from India. Next, we will talk about Shashi Tharoor. So again, a very familiar face in politics and literature. So yes, he is an Indian politician, writer, and former diplomat. Shashi Tharoor's non-fiction work, An Era of Darkness, published later in the UK as Inglorious Empire, What the British Did to India, arose out of a speech he made at the Oxford Union. Was published in 2016. It has sold over 100,000 copies in hardback prints and continues to be a bestseller in the country. The British edition rose to #1 in the London Evening Standard bestseller lists. Since then, he has published 2 other non-fiction works like Why I Am a Hindu and The Paradoxical Prime Minister, both of which have been published in the Indian subcontinent by the Aleph Book Company. These 2 books, both mega bestsellers in India, raised very important questions. Why I Am a Hindu makes the point that it is precisely because Hindus form the majority that India has survived as a plural, secular democracy, a status that come under threat in the present world. The Paradoxical Prime Minister was a critical study of the present Prime Minister Narendra Modi and the effect he has had on India, along with other questions about a leader who is reviled and worshipped in equal measure. Right. So again, a very important writer, scholar, right? Shashi Tharoor. Do look up his works of fiction as well as non-fiction, right? Okay. Let's move on to the next. And yes, Shashi Tharoor got the Sahitya Akademi Award in 2019 for his work of non-fiction, An Era of Darkness. That's why I have talked about this book here, right? So he got the Sahitya Akademi Award in 2019 for his work of non-fiction, An Era of Darkness, right? Next, we will talk about Anis Saleem. Anis Saleem, again, is a very important writer. He's an Indian author known for his books like Vanity Bag, The Blind Lady's Descendants, and The Small Town Sea. He's from the town of Varkala and now lives in Kochi, Kerala. He won the Sahitya Akademi Award for The Blind Lady's Descendants in 2018, becoming only the fourth Malayali in history to win the award for an English work. Right? So let me tell you a bit more about Anis Saleem, especially his novels. Especially the novels you should remember by Anis Saleem are Vanity Bag and The Blind Lady's Descendants. Okay? So, which are the works that he has written? The Vic's Mango Tree, then Tales from a Vending Machine, Vanity Bag, The Blind Lady's Descendants, The Small Town Sea, The Odd Book of Baby Names, The Bell Boy, right? These are some of the works that Anis Saleem has written. Especially to look up the summaries of some of these works like The Blind Lady's Descendants, very important. There are many other writers who have won Sahitya Akademi Awards, right? And you should look them up. Like which writers you should look up? Mamang Dai. Mamang Dai also got the Sahitya Akademi Award, right? So do look up Mamang Dai. She's a northeastern writer, right? She writes about the northeast of India. So do look up all the works of Mamang Dai in the correct chronology. Remember, the chronology is very important for these works. All the writers we're talking about, be it poetry collections, prose, novels, whatever, please try to remember them in the correct chronology. All right? Okay. So do look up Mamang Dai, who got the Sahitya Akademi Award for her novel The Black Hill. Then Jerry Pinto, who got the Sahitya Akademi Award for his novel M and the Big Home. Then Cyrus Mistry, who got the Sahitya Akademi Award for his novel Chronicle of a Corpse Bearer. Then Adil Jussawala, who got the Sahitya Akademi for his poetry collection Trying to Say Goodbye. So in today's session, I tried to bring to you the Sahitya Akademi Award winners in English so that you guys look up these writers more. These writers are very important, not only for NET, but also other exams, right? So do look up the entire list of the Sahitya Akademi Award winners in English. Okay? And do remember the works in the correct chronology. If you guys want, we can also bring another session of current updates where we will talk about more writers who have got Sahitya Akademi Award, right? So we can do a part 2 of this so that we get to talk about more of these writers and we get exposed to more of their works, right? Okay, so that's all from our side for tonight. I really hope you guys will look up more of these writers. And let's wrap up our session for tonight. And if you haven't joined our recap course yet, and if you're wondering if you should, then do consider joining our recap course. We started this course from 1st November onwards. So if you haven't joined this course yet, you can do so from our official website, vallath.in. And also there is a phone number on the screen where you can contact if you have any further queries regarding our course. Right. So that's all for tonight. I really hope you guys liked the session. So like the video and share this with your friends as well. We will meet again tomorrow at 9 with a new revision session for NET.